All right, this is another ability to see amplification, and you're witnessing demonic activity. So this is a plane you see at the great elevation. It's so far away the camera can't zoom in on it, but that's great elevation, and it's also at a great distance. It is an airplane that is carrying a sign. This is the same elements of this is nothing other than, it's analogous to a demon driving an Amazon Prime vehicle, looking to appear to be engaging in some sort of function, and engaging in the elements of monitoring, engaging in what is practicing the demonic system on behalf of the state. It's crossing a path while a fake sun remains in alignment to me. This is the population that's engaged in what are demonic methods, a demonic system of surveillance. And it's also a sex offense based on my location inside of an apartment. You are able to see what is the demonic practice of amplification. This is how demons target you with the creation of audible activity. Audible activity is key with regard to what is demons who are monitoring you. And so audible activity is occurring with light activity. Light activity, massive light activity is occurring in the unnatural environment. The unnatural environment is synonymous with the demonic environment. Okay, this is the work of Satan when you're looking at a fake sun that's at the same address. Remember, it's over my front door at 10, at 12. I'm in the same apartment, and it is 5:05 p.m. And this is also not sunlight. That's appearing both at a downward trajectory and also above my head. This is my shadow. This is my hand. Okay, my light is not on. This has nothing to do with sunlight, nor is the sun remaining at one address for 12 hours in the day. And that's exactly what it is. And this is not in Ontario. It's not over the Ovid Family Community Library. It's at the same address. And you can windshield. You can see through the windshield of the vehicles parked at this property. That's the ability to identify. The consistent elements are present. All you're doing is replacing a demon with a vehicle that has Amazon Prime on it. That's what Amazon Prime was doing. While demons were stalking in a helicopter at that, where my apartment building would never vibrate or shake. That's the demonic methods of targeting, and it's also going to be prosecuted as what it is, terrorism. All right? Dominic Choi, the demons of the LAPD, the state, let me be clear, the fire departments, they have a rude awakening while they're being demons engaging in criminal surveillance as opposed to engaging in what is any lawful operation of what fire departments do. That's called criminal summoning while a fake sun and engineered light is present. It's a federal offense. Everybody at this property is going to federal prison. That's the demons that are engaged in ongoing pacing. And through the windshield of that demon that's driving onto the property, you saw the fake sun in the back of his windshield. That's Lopez Banos. Group stalking while the entity was stalking in a helicopter at 1:14 in the afternoon. Where's the fake sun? Over the same parking lot. You could see it through of the same exact parking lot. As he drove out of the parking lot group with the demon that had license plates 9HUJ414, substantially similar, you saw in that video the light source through the windshield of that third party that was engaged in lying in wait, calling us a demon, a sex offender that was monitoring me this afternoon while the fake sun was over the same exact property. He's going to federal prison just like everybody else. Everybody else. And he's acting with the state right now that's using sirens as a means of audible activity, sitting there listening to the truth that I speak about that demon-possessed sex-offending psychopath who has a family, practices federal group stalking and monitoring, which is terrorism in the U.S., and he's going to federal prison. All right, and he's going to have a federal criminal record that the Department of Justice is going to make sure everybody knows about before he tries to move anywhere when he gets out of federal prison, if he's not deported when he's released from federal prison. This is the light source that's over the same location. So you can look at those two videos. That's another ability to recognize what Amazon Prime, for example, was engaging in, what the demon driving onto the property, just like a third-party resident who's living at the crime scene. That third party that was driving the black Kia drove onto this property at around 1:11 p.m. is when I started that video specifically, and this demon was driving off of the property and through the windshield, pacing with a license 9 HUJ or 9JHU, substantially similar, number 414, driving onto the property. And I started capturing video at 9/11 because the demons that are the LAPD who are monitoring right now while you heard sirens as a method of audible activity. What was the audible activity as I started this video? Amplified plane activity, which at that distance is impossible to hear. Period. But it's not just that it's impossible to hear. I'm in the apartment, windows closed. I'm listening to stuff on my phone and yet interfering with quiet enjoyment while the entity is group stalking. I'm going to prosecute the people. Okay? But this is inherent to engaging in state surveillance, and while demons are keeping you under surveillance. There are also sex offenders who are keeping recording me inside of my private space. That's a whole other aspect of the sex offense that the entity is engaging in addition to what is molesting me with engineered light for purposes of engaging in what is criminal surveillance, which you'll understand what is going on in a demonic environment. We're not covered by sunlight. This is not sunlight. There's no sun over the Ovid Family Community Library, which again, I'm heavily documented in July of 2022, going to the library in Ontario every day. The entity's keeping a fake sun. I went from the Motel 6 this morning where the fake sun's remaining outside of my leasing office window, and demons such as Lopez Banos who are living at the crime crime scene are going to federal prison for it. They're participating in criminal monitoring. They're domestic terrorists, not different from demons of the same sexual violence, of the same demented mind state, which is Dominic Choi. And the demons of the LAPD pacing like this on Alvarado, demonic pacing. This is what they're doing in engineered light. So I want you to look up above. This is engineered light. This is what demons are doing. You see, I have two shadows here. This is what demons are doing. Pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth around me. How do you accomplish this while seeking to not appear like a demonic psychopath? You do it as a population. Satan is a spirit. He's using an entire population to engage in surveillance, to engage in what is group stalking. Group stalking is demonic activity. You are readily capable of identifying the demonic environment because this is clearly on its face questionable. To the ordinary target individual that is living in a bubble and a demonic environment is following them everywhere that they go, it's terrorism. Okay? Having multiple shadows on your ceiling, interference with quiet enjoyment. I'm going to prosecute the demon-possessed agency, okay, liable also under federal RICO charges for using a business to engage in what is federal group stalking and monitoring as opposed to a lawful operation of a business. This is why I have engineered light inside of my apartment as a property manager working for the property management company whose employees are third parties group stalking with the state, where the state is heavily engaged in terrorism group stalking using helicopters and sirens. Direct evidence and admission by the state that it is indeed engaged in surveillance, criminal monitoring, which the entity is doing with the people of the state. This is being surrounded with that body of evidence. It is in conformity to a body of evidence that's already just sitting on the record. All of this is in conformity to pre-existing evidence. In addition to that, you need to know that this population that's demon-possessed, they maintain real-time knowledge of what I'm doing inside of my private space. Not only are they monitoring, which is evidenced through the unnatural environment, they maintain real-time footage of me while I am physically nude, watching me on cameras and then driving onto the property as though they're going about life as usual, flying over my apartment, entertaining the demons that are watching me on the dark web, the demons that are stalking in helicopter, providing a show for the demon-possessed who are watching on cameras on the dark web. All of this is relevant to the ways in which Dominic Choi and that terrorist organization shall be prosecuted and exposed for the violent sex offenders and terrorists that they are. That's what's going on. That's also what's relevant with regard to stalking and terrorizing an American citizen while you're demon-possessed at that, and the entity is maintaining real-time footage of you in a private space on and at the population that's targeting you and keeping you surrounded in a bubble, and then the entity is engaging in this while the demon-possessed population watches your life like it is the Truman Show, by the way, but it's not. It's my real life, and I'm going to prosecute real people. In fact, I'm going to prosecute the state of California for it. That's relevant for the terrorism that the state of California is engaging in, stalking and terrorizing and harassing an American citizen using helicopters to do so. You need to know that such psychopaths and stalkers are demon-possessed, and this is an unnatural environment. Okay, this is P.O.C. You are able to recognize the unnatural environment through the use of the windshields, the demons that are parked on the property. You can see the fake sun through the windshields of the property. That's non-movement of that which is not possibly the sun, while there's documentation literally on the same day in an entirely different region where that which is certainly appearing like the sun, like it certainly appears here, but that's not the sun that will be at the same address 12 hours later. That's called crossing a path. That's why they're going to federal prison. They're living at a crime scene. That is the state of California keeping you under surveillance by living around you. They're not allowed to sit on the curb outside and tap my phones. They're not allowed to engage in any warrantless search. They're not allowed to take my phone and search for it without any warrant, without any probable cause, without me having engaged in any crime in order for them to have facts and circumstances suggesting that they have the lawful ability to do so. They certainly cannot do it through a demon-possessed population while they engage in it in a satanic method. And that's what federal group stalking and monitoring is and what it's about. And you will be prosecuted for what is not only unlawful under existing constitutional laws, but also because of the unprecedented level of what shall be recognized as terrorism in the United States, revealing what is not a free society in America. Okay, it is currently 5:13 p.m. The fake sun remains here, as I show on a nightly basis. It remains here till after 7 p.m. While the blinds are closed, you can see this fake sun blaring through closed blinds. I want to be clear. This you cannot see outside the sun, but you have what is a light source. This is not the sun. I am capturing the demonic on a daily basis for you to witness. You are understanding what is the reality of Satan. You cannot reasonably deny the reality of Satan. Satan is a spirit. Okay, so you're talking about willful ignorance at this point. The reason why this is happening to me is because there are things that need to be exposed about what's going on in the world, what Satan is doing in the world. That's what's going on here. Satan is real. Satan is a spirit. Satan is going to be prosecuted under the name of the state of California, because that's what's wrong with California. You have massive demon possession, and it's taken root in what is manifesting as criminal conduct. You have sex offenders. You have stalkers. You have psychopaths. And it is taking form as demon possession. That's the spirit that they have on them, and that's the conduct that they're engaging in, and they would like to do it secretly. It's no longer a secret, and I'm going to prosecute you for it. I'm going to specifically name and identify you for it. And you're going to lose the position from whatever power you thought you had. It is currently 5:14 p.m. This is P.O.C.